Like a caterpillar in its cocoon, you may feel trapped and unseen now, caught in patterns of life that mask the greatness within you. There's a quiet ache, an unrest in your spirit, as if the person you were meant to be is hidden beneath layers of distraction, drift, and excuses. Yet, just as the caterpillar transforms invisibly, gathering strength day by day before emerging into a new form, so too is your metamorphosis underway, waiting to be awakened through discipline. This is not just a motivational idea, it is a divine invitation, a call from your soul to rise anew, to shed the old identity and embrace a new creation. The process will demand courage, patience, and relentless consistency. But the reward is a transformation so profound that you will become unrecognizable, even to yourself. A person renewed in character, vision, and strength. If you want to be unrecognizable to the person you were a month ago, you must first see what's holding you back. You must confront the shadows of drift and neglect, and then take up the disciplines that will lead you into the light of your new self. Before you can begin the journey toward becoming unrecognizable in just 30 days, you must first face the reality of who you are today. The lost identity, shaped by drift, excuses, and neglected disciplines. It's a truth that many avoid because it carries the weight of regret and shame. Yet naming this fallen self is the doorway to freedom. Picture yourself as a captain of a ship sailing through thick fog without a rudder or compass, tossed by waves you cannot control, unsure where you're headed or if you'll ever reach safe harbor. This ship is your life, and the storm that rages around you is the sum of neglected habits, half-hearted efforts, and the comfortable numbness of drifting. You may have once had clarity and purpose, but over time, the storms of distraction and inconsistency have eroded your course and dimmed your vision. The person you see in the mirror may feel like a stranger, someone who gave up on their dreams or allowed fear and laziness to shape their destiny. But recognizing this lost identity is not a moment for despair. It's a moment of awakening. It's an honest assessment that the old you, defined by missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential, is not your final form. This realization is a gift because it means change is possible. The chains that bind you are visible now, and with that clarity comes the power to break them. Naming these chains the habits, the thoughts, the choices that keep you trapped in drift is the first step to breaking free and beginning your transformation into the person you were meant to become. Now that we have faced the painful truth of a lost identity, it is time to call out the very habits and mindsets that have betrayed your true potential. The silent, often unnoticed drift behaviors that act as nails in the coffin of the person you long to become. These are the patterns that subtly undermine your progress, the choices that feel small in the moment, but compound into a life of mediocrity over time. Procrastination is chief among them, the endless postponing of growth, the habit of telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, next week, or next month, while the days slip quietly away. Distraction is another thief, drawing your focus from what matters most into trivial pursuits that neither nourish your mind nor advance your goals. Inconsistency follows closely behind those moments when you start strong but falter, when discipline is replaced by convenience, and the rhythm of daily habits breaks down into chaos. Each of these behaviors chips away at your identity, creating a gap between who you are and who you could be. The theological dimension here reminds us that drift is a kind of spiritual neglect, a turning away from the stewardship of the life entrusted to you. It is the refusal to align your will with divine order, choosing instead the easy path of passivity and comfort. Spiritually, it separates you from your true purpose, leaving you adrift in the fog of missed opportunities and unrealized dreams. The metaphor of nails in a coffin is fitting because these behaviors, repeated day after day, seal the fate of a life unfulfilled. They build walls around your potential, trapping you in a shadow of regret and frustration. But naming these behaviors is more than condemnation. It is empowerment. When you see the habits clearly for what they are, you gain the power to reject them, to break the cycle of self-sabotage, and to reclaim control. Emotionally, this moment is often accompanied by rising anger. Anger at yourself for allowing these patterns to take root, frustration at the years lost, and determination to fight back. It is the ignition of a fierce resolve that says, no more. This anger is a fuel, a fire that can propel you out of the fog and into the light of intentional living. Yet this is not the end of your story. Recognizing the problem prepares you for the next, most vital step, the restoration of truth, the resurrection of your true self through grace, effort, and disciplined action. Your past does not define you. The disciplines you adopt now will. So, As you sit with these truths, understand this is a turning point. Your story does not end with drift and defeat. It begins anew with the decision to embrace the disciplines that will resurrect your identity and make you unrecognizable to the person you once were. The next chapter awaits one of hope, transformation, and unstoppable growth. In the midst of confronting the brokenness that drift brings, it is vital to remember that your story does not end in despair, but is poised for a remarkable resurrection, a rebirth that mirrors the timeless narrative of grace, meeting effort, of the phoenix rising from ashes to soar once more. Let me share a story that embodies this transformative power, a story not just of redemption, but of deliberate discipline and unwavering faith. When I was young, lost in the fog of uncertainty and inconsistent effort, I felt like a ship adrift on a vast and stormy sea. Every wave seemed to push me further from my dreams, and I questioned whether I was destined to drift forever. Then, by divine providence, I met a mentor whose wisdom cut through the chaos, a man who taught me that grace does not exempt us from effort but empowers it. He showed me that the disciplines I practiced were the oars that would steer my ship through the storm. This story of transformation is a living parable, illustrating that no matter how broken or lost you feel, disciplined effort, fueled by faith, can resurrect your true self. Like the phoenix, your old self, marked by hesitation, neglect, and inconsistency, must first be acknowledged as gone, and from those ashes, a new identity emerges, forged in the fires of daily disciplines. This process is neither easy nor instant. It requires humility to accept your brokenness, courage to commit to change, and persistence to keep rowing even when the shore is not yet in sight. But the promise is real. Through these daily acts of discipline, the life you've only dreamed of becomes your reality. Philosophically and theologically, this story holds deep significance. It reflects the natural and divine order that transformation is possible because of the interplay between grace and personal responsibility. Grace offers the opportunity for renewal. Discipline secures it. Neither alone suffices. Grace without effort is wasted potential, and effort without grace is a weary struggle. When combined, they create unstoppable momentum toward a new, unrecognizable you. Emotionally, this narrative shifts you from brokenness to inspiration, from doubt to belief. It ignites a spark within you that says, if he could rise from the ashes, so can I. It reminds you that transformation is a process anchored in truth and made visible by consistent, faithful action. This parable also serves as a compass, pointing forward, showing not only where you've been, but where you can go. It invites you to step fully into your power as a co-creator of your destiny, armed with the knowledge that the disciplines you choose to adopt will be the architects of your new identity. The transformation is not about becoming someone different overnight, but about daily resurrection, waking up each morning a little stronger, a little wiser, a little closer to the unrecognizable person waiting to emerge. And so, with this renewed hope and belief, we move into the next stage. Building this new self-view deliberately, intentionally, and with unwavering commitment. Having been awakened to the possibility of transformation and having seen the power of grace coupled with disciplined effort to resurrect your true self, the next vital step is to intentionally build a new self-view. This is a process of redefining who you are at the core, understanding that your identity is not a fixed destination, but a living, breathing creation, shaped daily by your habits, thoughts, and choices. Philosophically, this aligns with the truth that character is not inherited but crafted, and theological wisdom teaches us that we are stewards of the lives we have been given, responsible to shape our souls with care and intention. Imagine your character as the pliable clay in the hands of a skilled potter, and your habits as the potter's hands shaping the vessel you will become. Each discipline you practice, each decision you make, molds your identity, giving form and function to the person who emerges. Emotionally, this is a deeply empowering moment. To build a new self-view means you accept the responsibility and the privilege of becoming more than you have been. It means no longer defining yourself by past mistakes, drift, or limitations, but by the vision and discipline you embrace today. This shift from victimhood to stewardship breathes new life into your soul. You begin to see yourself not as trapped in circumstance, but as the architect of your destiny, capable of transformation through the choices you make and the disciplines you uphold. It invites a radical acceptance that your past has shaped you, but it does not have to define you. Your future is crafted by the hands of daily discipline and intentional thought. This new self-view also calls for the cultivation of a mindset rooted in purpose and resilience. You understand that setbacks are temporary, obstacles are opportunities for growth, and that your identity is continuously refined through perseverance. The image you hold of yourself grows from vague hopes to clear, actionable beliefs about who you are becoming. You no longer see discipline as a burden, but as a path to freedom, the freedom to live authentically and powerfully. This mindset aligns with the divine order that calls us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds and to become living testimonies of grace and effort intertwined. Practically, building this new self-view requires daily affirmation and reflection. It requires that you consciously reject the old narratives that kept you stuck and embrace new truths about your value, your potential, and your destiny. This might mean starting each day with deliberate thoughts that reinforce your commitment to growth, or ending each day by journaling your progress and lessons learned. It may involve surrounding yourself with reminders, quotes, scriptures, mentors that anchor you to this evolving identity. The process is incremental, a steady shaping rather than sudden change, but it is unstoppable when practiced with consistency and faith. As you build this new self-view, you prepare yourself to live the disciplines that will follow. These disciplines are not arbitrary rules. They are the deliberate acts of a person who knows their worth and commands their future. They are the bridge between who you were and who you will become, and they will transform you in ways that will astonish you and those around you. Now, with this foundation firmly set, it's time to introduce these disciplines, specific, actionable habits drawn from the wellspring of Jim Rohn's wisdom that will guide you to become truly unrecognizable in just 30 days. Now that you have embraced the truth that your identity is a living, malleable creation shaped by your choices and habits, it is time to issue a firm declaration and adopt the specific disciplines that will transform you beyond recognition in the next 30 days. Discipline, as I've said many times, is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, between who you are and who you desire to become. It is not merely about willpower or harsh self-denial, but about aligning your daily actions with your highest purpose and vision. The disciplines you commit to now are the daily acts that build momentum and create irreversible change, each one a deliberate stroke in the masterpiece of your new self. This is your moment of commitment, your covenant with yourself to live by these principles with relentless consistency, no matter the challenges that arise. Consider discipline as the architect's blueprint come to life, a careful, intentional construction of habits that reinforce your new identity and dismantle the old. Imagine crossing a vast, turbulent river. Discipline is the bridge that carries you safely from the bank of your former self to the land of your transformed being. Without it, the currents of drift and distraction will pull you back into the familiar patterns that have limited you. With it, you take control, step by step, day by day, forging a path toward excellence and unstoppable growth. This is not a temporary fix, but a lifelong commitment, a sacred trust that you place in your own hands to steward your transformation. It requires courage to say no to old comforts and yes to the hard work of becoming better. The disciplines I offer are drawn directly from the timeless teachings of Jim Rohn, distilled into practical habits that anyone can begin immediately. First, cultivate the habit of rising early and starting your day with intention. Begin with reading, reflection, or journaling to prime your mind for success. Second, commit to physical discipline. Exercise and nutrition are the foundation for mental clarity and emotional strength. Third, guard your time fiercely. Schedule your day around your priorities and avoid the distractions that sap your energy. Fourth, cultivate gratitude and positive self-talk. Feed your soul with affirmations that reinforce your new identity. Fifth, surround yourself daily with uplifting and challenging influences. Seek mentors, peers, and content that sharpen your vision and character. Sixth, track your progress. Measure your small wins and setbacks. Honestly, adjusting your course as needed. Finally, practice generosity, giving of your time, wisdom, or resources. For generosity not only blesses others, but reinforces your own abundance mindset. These disciplines may demand sacrifice and discomfort. They call for you to confront the parts of yourself that cling to old habits, excuses, and fear. But they also offer immeasurable reward, the unfolding of a life that is richer, fuller, and more powerful than you have ever imagined. This is the discipline of becoming, the active crafting of your destiny. As you practice these faithfully, day by day, you will begin to see in the mirror a reflection that grows stronger, wiser, and unrecognizable to the person who started this journey. The fog of drift lifts, replaced by clarity, momentum, and an unshakable confidence. So, I challenge you, take these disciplines and weave them into the fabric of your life with unyielding commitment. Begin now. Let this be the defining act that sets in motion the unstoppable transformation that will ripple through every area of your life: financial, relational, spiritual, and personal. In doing so, you embrace the very essence of stewardship over the life you have been given, honoring the divine order that rewards effort and obedience. These disciplines are your tools, your weapons, and your sacred responsibilities. Use them well, and the next 30 days will mark the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where you become truly unrecognizable in all the best ways. Now, with the power of disciplines firmly set before you, I want you to lift your eyes beyond the immediate horizon and gaze into the future, the 5 years ahead, that your actions today will shape so profoundly. This is not merely an exercise in wishful thinking, but a sacred invitation to plant the seeds now that your future self will harvest abundantly. Imagine yourself 5 years from today, a person transformed, unrecognizable in the best possible way, living a life of clarity, purpose, and unstoppable momentum. See in your mind's eye the habits you've cultivated, the challenges you've overcome, the wisdom you've gained, and the peace that comes from aligning your life with timeless principles. This vision is not a distant fantasy, but a divine calling, a moral responsibility to steward your life with intention and faithfulness. Philosophically, this vision frames your journey as a pilgrimage rather than a race. Each day is a step, each discipline a stone laid carefully on the path toward that new identity. It reminds you that the future you desire is built on the foundation of present choices, and that small, consistent actions compound into monumental change. Theologically, envisioning your future self is an act of faith. Faith that the effort you put in now will bear fruit. Faith that the laws of sowing and reaping will not fail you. And faith that you are co-creating with divine providence the life meant for you. This future self is not an abstract ideal, but the real person you are becoming through your obedience to these disciplines. Emotionally, holding this vision cultivates hope and determination. It counteracts the impatience that so often sabotages growth and replaces it with long-term resolve. When the days feel hard and progress seems slow, your vision becomes the beacon that guides you forward. It fills your heart with confidence because you are no longer building in the dark, you are building toward a clearly seen destiny. This vision also challenges you to take full responsibility for your transformation. The person you will be in 5 years depends entirely on the choices you make today. As you envision this future, allow yourself to feel the weight and the joy of the responsibility you carry. You are the gardener of your soul, the architect of your destiny. The life you live now through the disciplines you embrace is the soil that will nurture or neglect your dreams. So I invite you to plant with intention, water with consistency, and tend with care. Write down this vision, speak it aloud. Let it be a daily reminder that the journey to becoming unrecognizable is a journey worth taking. The person you will be in 5 years is already emerging in the choices you make in this very moment. And with this powerful vision anchored in your heart, we move to the final charge, the call to commit fully, to become the living testament of transformation that Jim Rohn's teachings have ignited within you. As we draw this profound conversation to a close, I want to extend to you not merely words, but a call, a summons to embody these disciplines daily and to become a living testament to the transformational power of intentional, disciplined living. You are the author of your story, and the chapters you write from this moment forward will define not only your legacy, but the impact you leave on the world. This is no small responsibility, but it is one filled with hope and infinite possibility. I challenge you to commit fully, not tomorrow, not next week, but today, to the disciplines that will make you unrecognizable to the person you were just 30 days ago. Think deeply on this metaphor. Your life is a blank canvas, and you hold the brush. The colors and strokes you choose today will form the masterpiece of your identity tomorrow. Will it be a painting of discipline, growth, and purpose? Or will it be a faded sketch of regret and unfulfilled potential? The choice lies entirely within your hands. And while the journey ahead will require effort, persistence, and sometimes sacrifice, the rewards are beyond measure. Not only will you see a new person reflected in the mirror, but you will feel the satisfaction of having lived with integrity and intentionality, having honored the divine stewardship entrusted to you. Emotionally, this moment is an invitation to rise, a call to exchange hesitation for resolve, fear for faith, and drift for direction. It is the decisive point where you declare with conviction that your future is yours to build, and that you will no longer be held captive by the habits and identities of your past. The power of this commitment is transformative because it moves you from passive listener to active doer. It aligns your will with action and sets in motion the unstoppable momentum of habit compounded. So now, I ask you to take out a pen and paper, or open the Notes app on your phone, and write down your commitment. Specify the first discipline you will practice starting today. Maybe it's waking early for reflection and planning, journaling your progress, saying no to distractions, or dedicating time to learning. Whatever it is, make it clear and concrete. Then, share it with someone who will hold you accountable, whether a friend, mentor, or community. This simple act of declaration will root your intentions in reality and begin the process of transformation. Remember, the path to becoming unrecognizable is not traveled by those who wait for someday. It is claimed by those who act today. The disciplines you adopt and the consistency with which you apply them will forge a new identity, one that commands respect, attracts opportunity, and embodies the fullness of your God-given potential. Go forward now with confidence, knowing that you are equipped with timeless principles and a renewed spirit, ready to build a life that astonishes not only others, but yourself. As we bring this journey to its close, I want you to linger for a moment in the wait and wonder of what lies ahead. Transformation is not a destination, but a sacred process, a continuous unfolding of the potential that has always been within you, waiting patiently for your commitment to set it free. The disciplines we have explored are not mere rules. They are the pathways through which grace and effort intertwine to create a new life. A life so radically different that even you will look back on your former self as if you were a stranger. This is the mystery and the miracle of disciplined living, that by faithfully sowing today, you harvest a future unrecognizable in its richness, depth, and fulfillment. Philosophically, this is the celebration of human agency, the ability to choose, to create, and to shape your own destiny. Theologically, it is an affirmation of stewardship and divine partnership, where you participate with faith in the unfolding of a plan greater than yourself. Emotionally, it is a call to courage, to persevere through discomfort and doubt, because you know that the reward is real and lasting. You are not alone in this. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has walked this path, embraced these disciplines, and endured the struggle of becoming more than they were. Your struggle is the beginning of your story, not the end. I encourage you to return often to these teachings, to remind yourself of the power and purpose in disciplined living. Allow them to be a wellspring of strength on days when motivation wanes, a compass when confusion clouds your path. And remember, the transformation you seek is already at work within you, kindled by your intention and stoked by your actions. Let patience and faith accompany your effort, knowing that the fruit of your labor will come in due season. So step forward boldly, with the assurance that you are equipped, empowered, and entrusted to become unrecognizable in the most glorious way. Your future self is calling. Will you answer? The choice is yours. The time is now. Live fully, act intentionally, and become the person you were always meant to be.